Hello everyone, this is Tom Fox. I'm the Compliance Evangelist, and I'd like to welcome you to a special 5-part series on the evolving role of risk, compliance, and ethics. This series is sponsored by SAI Global. SAI Global has developed a new service offering, EthicsAnywhere. EthicsAnywhere is a modern approach to learning. It is responsive on any device, customizable for any organization, and targeted to any user, available in any location and translated in any language. So your employees can consume content at any time and prepare for any risk. And you can collect data to measure any goal your ethics and compliance program may have. For more information on EthicsAnywhere, check out our sponsor's website, saiglobal.com. That's saiglobal.com. In this episode, I visit with Rebecca Turco, Vice President of Learning Solutions at SAI Global. We discuss the new compliance solution from SAI Global, EthicsAnywhere. This special series with SAI Global is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network. Hello, everyone. This is Tom Fox again, back for another episode. Today, I have with me Rebecca Turco. She is the Vice President of Learning Solutions at SAI Global, and we're here today to talk about something I'm extraordinarily excited about, and I'm excited to hear about, and that is the EthicsAnywhere solution. So, Rebecca, first of all, thank you for taking the time to visit with me today.
Thank you for having me.
So, why don't you let me start. What is EthicsAnywhere?
EthicsAnywhere is our new solution. I'll say it started with us sitting down to think about our program and where we wanted to go as an organization. And we looked at the evolution of, ethics and compliance, the industry, the market, where people are going, what they're talking about. What are some of the barriers to getting through this? And what we started is to have an honest conversation, right? We have conversations with ourselves and then with, what our clients and with their learners, their employees, and they start to feel really about, you start a brand new job, you're excited, first day in, you're taking, you're filling out your paperwork, you're taking your courses, and, they're sitting through this mandatory training that has no relevance to them, that maybe is meaningless, or it's just an activity they have to do that they're going to forget about after 6 months, that they're not sure why they're doing it. There's no context around it. You've got managers who say, you have to do this. This is part of my job and I need you to do the training and I need you to complete it because I'm measured on that. And you're really kind of sitting in a situation where you're providing really valuable, important training to learners. And you're making it, not as engaging, not as meaningful. You're not really starting them off on the right foot, if you will. So we thought about this idea of EthicsAnywhere, and really what it is saying, in the world we live in today, where content is consumed and people make decisions if they agree with a piece of content or disagree within 7 seconds, they're not engaged, they're not paying attention anymore, content comes to them in the form of, everywhere. They're Googling answers to questions in their real life, their work life. They're accessing content via their phone, via their computer, their tablets, right? Work-life balance is a blend now. They expect things to work as they would anything else. So their compliance training should work as as easy as opening up an application on their phone. So we thought about, there's 2 pieces to our EthicsAnywhere story. One is remove the barriers in technology. Technology today is amazing. The things that we can do, right now versus what we could do 5 to 10 years ago is quite different. And, the compliance team and compliance programs have shifted to use better technology to make it easier for people to access content information, right? Information that they need. So we've started to look at what is our technology? How do we make sure that we can remove all of the barriers to that? And then the second piece is really our content. How do we make sure that we have content that we can serve up to learners anywhere, anytime, whether they're, on the road, going to a sales meeting, they're accessing from their phone, whether they're sitting in their WeWork space on their computer. So this idea that in order for us to provide what we know is meaningful solutions to our clients and our partners, we have to think about, being able to give them relevant, meaningful content through all the means of technology that exists today and really start to look at how do we start to make this program tailored and relevant for each company, for each learner. So that's kind of the start of Ethics Anywhere, really about taking modern technology, taking really different and engaging content, thinking about the learner, and making sure that we are meeting them where they are and giving them what they need. So that's the start to, I guess, what Ethics Anywhere is. It's really being able to provide your ethics and compliance training wherever you are and make it as simple as possible for you to get into and access information.
Rebecca, several times in that opening, you mentioned millennials. And I'm a baby boomer, so I carry that mantle proudly. But with the evolving workplace driven by millennials, you specifically talked about using technology to engage millennials. But do you see millennials consuming content in a different way than perhaps someone like from my generation would have?
Yeah, it's a great, millennials are driving, right? The engagement, what they're looking for. I think that they are going to push what they accept as good compliance training. They are driving how they want to get it, right? They want to get it on the phone. They want it to look like any other piece of content that they, are looking at today. They don't want to have, barriers to entry. They don't tolerate not being able to log in via password, right, or not being able to get right to the content that they need. So they value their time. And so millennials have started, the shift in the workplace for us and for, as we think about compliance programs and as corporations are, growing and their workforce is shifting, is how do you reach those millennials? How do you make sure that what you're providing them is exactly what they're looking for? So I absolutely think that they play a huge role. And what they've done for us, for our business, is really made us think about the content we're writing, how we're designing that content, in the sense of it's no longer kind of just putting out there like, here's what anti-bribery means, here's kind of your practice questions, here's your assessment, and then we move on. But it's really about digging into what it means to them, why it's a value to the company, right? Why is it protecting their brand or their job or their own company values? And really looking at, that shift of less about the risk area and more about why is it meaningful for me? Why do I need to know this? What are my risks if I don't know this? So I definitely think millennials are pushing the envelope. And I would say that all of us, whether you're a millennial or a baby boomer, interact with technology much differently than we did 5 years ago. So the expectation, regardless of what generation you're in, you want things to work on your phone. You want it to be engaging. You want you want your time to be valued. So I think the millennials are helping push that story. But I know, for myself and for others, we should be able to access content anywhere. We should be able to get information that we need to, either make decisions or check on things that we're about to step into. And it shouldn't be a barrier of entry, from a compliance standpoint.
Another thing about millennials that I think is extraordinarily positive is, at least from my perspective, they seem to be very values driven. And they're very focused on culture. They are very focused on what companies do, what their reputation is. And not to say that a company may not have a misstep and make a mistake, but even if a mistake is made, that mistake or misstep is remedied. Is that something that you've seen in this journey and you've tried to incorporate into Ethics Anywhere as well?
Yes, absolutely. You're spot on. They are completely value-based. They are looking, they're looking to work for companies that have, working environments and values that line up like theirs. That's more important to them, or equally important as salary. I think we've seen it through some of the actions of other brands and corporation missteps over the past 2 years, that millennials will drive brand reputation based on what they perceive. So, how you respond to an ethical breach or a security breach really is driving how millennials react to a brand. So when you think about some of the things that have happened, their response is almost, if not more important than the actual ethical breach or security breach. And I think millennials are really driving that through to say that they no longer accept not standing up and taking ownership for that. So when we think about Ethics Anywhere and the brand that, a company that we're working with, so whether you're a small startup or a Fortune 500, you have a brand to protect. And in order for us to make sure that we're helping you do that, our content has to be reflective of that brand and your values. And the idea of being able to access content that's engaging, that's meaningful, ties back to what what your brand is, right? And so if you're a manufacturing, company, you've got to reach people that sit in an office, but also sit in a plant floor, that you take them off the line. And so when we think about our solution, it's really making sure that everyone has access to information that's relevant for their compliance and ethics program, and then they start to infuse that as part of, they become that brand. They become who they are. You take companies like Apple, right? You go into any Apple store, and you pretty much get the same experience. They are all, from all generations, right? Working from, support to signing in to, very technical help on computers and phones and what have you. But you're getting that same experience at every store you go to. And so, you think about that and that brand and how they infuse that culture. That's what you start to see in the compliance and ethics space. It's no longer this one-time training. It's really starting to take these pieces and put them together to build that brand, to build that culture, to build, to bring those people that are, representing your business or your brand, to make them feel that they are part of this and that this is something that is driven from them and from the company and not this one-time event. So absolutely the millennials are driving the value base. And I think corporations are reacting to that. They see the impact of what these, ethical failures have been to a brand. And, social media doesn't help them. They get hounded on that. And I think you've probably seen some of that too, in the past couple of years.
So, Rebecca, unfortunately, we're near the end of our time, but today I've been visiting with Rebecca Turco, the Vice President of Learning Solutions at SAI Global. Rebecca, thank you for taking the time to visit with me today.
Thanks, Tom.
Hello, everyone. This is Tom Fox again. I'd like to thank you for listening to this episode in our 5-part series, The Evolving Role of Risk, Compliance, and Ethics, sponsored by SAI Global. This 5-part series is a special production of the Compliance Podcast Network.